Hey everybody, Jason here. I hope you're all doing really good. So today I'm going to be reviewing the Blackview BL9000 Pro 5G from Blackview. This is a rugged smartphone that has a ton of battery life, it has a ton of storage, it has an IP68 water resistant rating, and it also has built-in thermal imaging. Inside of the box, we have the phone, we have a pretty decent charger, and we've got a thick charge cable. The charge cube that this thing comes with, it does have the European plug, but it is quite heavy. The charge cable that we have here, this thing is like really thick and meaty. I actually wonder if this thing will do like Thunderbolt 4 speeds. It sure feels like it's heavy enough. Ah, yes. Peel the screen protector off of it here. I'm going to take just a quick minute here to blast this thing through the first time setup wizards. So the fingerprint sensor on this, it's right on the power button as it was on previous models. So you want to be careful not to push the power button. You just want to lightly lay your fingerprint on there and let this thing have its way with your fingerprint. That actually sets up pretty stinking quickly. And there we go, this phone is up and running. So the specs on this thing are actually pretty stinking decent. We're talking 512 gig of storage, 12 gigabytes of RAM, and that's just, as a guy that does a lot of data recovery, the idea of having 500 gigs in your pocket is just, it kind of terrifies me a little bit. So please don't put 500 gigs on your phone without backing it up, for crying out loud. So it has built-in FLIR thermal imaging, which is pretty stinking cool. Now, one of the things that I really like about this is this 120 watt charging. Now, I've had this out of the box for a little bit, and I will tell you that I have seen it do 75 watts charging. I believe it'll probably hit 100. It will charge this battery fast, like really fast. Here's what this thing looks like up and running. It's actually pretty snappy. And one other thing that I really like that they fixed, on previous Blackview rugged phones that I've tested on this channel, we were like seriously restricted on the video camera. The video camera, even in 2020 and beyond, was restricted to 30 FPS, which I always found that to be absolutely ridiculous. And now we can actually get 60 FPS at 1080. Now, it will also do 4K, but I think 4K is going to be restricted to 30 FPS. I'm not 100% sure. I don't shoot much in 4K anyways, so I'm pretty stinking happy having 60 FPS at 1080. So I know everybody here is mostly interested in thermal imaging capabilities. So having a look at the FLIR camera, give that a second to load up. Let's switch this thing over to something a little more colorful. Now, aside from watermarking all of the photos and videos with this FLIR logo, the only other complaint I have about the FLIR camera is that it's a bit laggy. Now you can see where my hand's at, take it away. You know, I think we're only getting maybe a couple of frames per second here. I'm not sure what the exact spec is, but man, oh man, is it sensitive. Like there's where my hand's laying at. When you take it away, you'll still be able to clearly see where my hand was laying at. It's sensitive enough that I could probably write. Yeah, and you can see where my finger used to be. So this is actually massively useful. All right, well, there's really not much more I should continue dwelling on here. I think that is plenty enough of me blabbing. I'm gonna take this thing out into the real world and see what it can do. All right, here we go. In the pitch black tunnel. You'll never hide from the Blackview BL9000 Pro. Ooh-hee.
Oh no, don't do that.
Yeah, and the pipe in front of us that you can't even see, well, you can because there's a little bit of light now. Like, that's got warm poop water going through it. Like,
It does?
I heard something up there moving, did you? Yep. Something big swimming right there. There's a fish. It is a catfish. Look at that catfish. You find a flash drive?
Yes, sir, I did.
Flash drive? You sure? Or is it a flashlight? Glass, watch out for glass. Here's, okay, this is where you see that other tunnel coming in on your map. That's it. Dude, this is cool. Where does that one go? You got that Blackview phone with you? So we have a couple of these Blackview phones, and my son has a map of this place created on a BV9000, but unfortunately GPS signal is not working down here.
Yo, that's a flip phone. No, look at my flip phone. Let's see this.
Oh, dude, give me that. I'm gonna go do data recovery.
Yeah, I don't know if you're gonna be.
What kind is it?
That's one of the Android ones.
What? Take that. I'll put it in my pocket. I can't believe you found a flip. Look at the catfish.
It just kind of messed up.
So this walk went on for a good long while, and I actually completely forgot that I was holding a thermal camera the entire time. There's some things that I probably would have really liked to get pictures of with thermal imaging. The water kept getting deeper and quite a bit nastier, so we decided to turn back. Oh, here you go.
Hey, kid, come here. You want a balloon?
This is full HD at 60. Here's 4K at 30. Okie dokie, I am back in the shop with this thing, and I know you all would probably like to see more of my urban spelunking video, but after all, this is just a cell phone review video. Now, I will tell you that we have started the data recovery process on the flash drive that was found, and I'm pretty curious to see, what exactly is on that thing. So the phone looks a little bit different now that it's spent some time in the urban poop pipes, and all right, I'm going to start out in the settings here. Some of the stuff that really got my attention is down here under About Phone. We can see that it's got 12 gigabytes of RAM, and if we click on that, we've got this memory expansion option. Like, what in the name of all things holy? So if we turn on memory expansion, I believe what we're going to do here is we're going to be substituting flash memory for RAM, so we can make this thing think that it's got like a whole crap ton of RAM. I've never been one to like that sort of thing, so I'm going to leave that off, but I did want to let you all know that that is a possibility. Now, another thing that's probably pretty standard with FLIR cameras, if we go into the things that have been recorded with the FLIR app, we've got here's the stuff that I've recorded with FLIR. If we look, say, at the pictures of the boats that I took, like here's a picture of a row of boats. If we take and we drag up from the bottom, it's actually saving the MSX image separate from the thermal image, which is pretty stinking handy if you want to go back and look at stuff, which makes me wonder, what's it going to do if I show a picture of my son in the tunnel? It should just be blackness. Yeah. In the tunnel, it was pitch black, and then that's what it looks like with the thermal image. Very, very, very useful piece of equipment. So for the photo manager, this is just standard Android, so we're going to be using Google Photos as default. And if we, just pick some crazy photo, like, oh yeah, here's a good one of me standing under a manhole cover. We've got just some standard options that are available on this. Like if I choose blur background, it should actually use some AI to computer vision to isolate my face. And there we've got, my face is real clear, but it's blurred the background. Now, with Google Photos, it wants us to be paying for Google One in order to be able to use those features. So just browsing through some of the other settings here, if we look under display, if we go down here and we look at the smooth display option, we can actually choose if we want smart 120 Hertz, so it can be 120 Hertz and conserve power. If we just want to have blazing 120 all the time, medium at 90 or standard at 60. So you can change all of that and get some power savvy options going on. Of course, the button on the side of this thing, it is configurable. Speaker cleaning. Yeah, here we go. It's sort of like on your Apple or Android watch after you get it wet and you want to like blast out the speaker. Whoop! Nothing will wake your kid up faster than that. All right. You can turn on call recording, so it's always going to record the calls or not. So I have had a chance to spend quite a bit of time with this phone now, and I've came up with sort of a list of things I like and the things I don't like. I'm going to start with a list of things I don't like. The first thing that kind of really drove me nuts about this is when I'm laying in bed at night and I'm trying to sneak and watch a YouTube video and my son's going to sleep in the room right next to us, it's just too stinking loud. Now, it does sound really good. It's got good stereo sound. And the problem I have is that whenever it's turned all the way down to where it is on its lowest volume setting, you can still hear it in the room next door. It's just loud. So that might actually be beneficial to some people because whenever you turn it up really loud, this thing is like blasting loud. It is a really, really, really loud phone. There's probably a way somewhere in some low-level settings to adjust the audio gain and maybe turn that down a little bit. But I have went through all the standard Android settings, I've went through all the developer mode settings, and I actually cannot find a way to adjust that. But I did see other settings available on other Blackview phones that I'm not sure how to get into on this one. So the next thing that is sort of driving me crazy is that the video recordings, for whatever reason, they seem to only be recording the left channel, which, is there only one? I mean, what's going on here? Maybe there's a setting or something where I can tune that out. Otherwise, to fix that, I'm looking at just duplicating the left channel onto the right channel and making it mono audio, which I don't want to do that. Maybe there's a way to get stereo recording working. FLIR camera is laggy. I mean, you all seen it in the video. Here I am pulling up the FLIR camera right now. It takes its time loading, and then once it loads, it's like maybe 2 frames per second or something like that. And it has these period of times where it just sort of like glitches out, albeit it is still really useful though. If you're not looking to need a high frame rate for whatever thermal application that you're using, it does work really good. You can see my computer back there in the corner. This thing will work really good for spotting like, leaks in pipes, or I used a Blackview phone one time at my sister's house where they couldn't figure out where her refrigerator was leaking, and the Blackview phone made it extremely clear everywhere the cold water was. So aside from the slow frame rate, it's still pretty good, but other thermal cameras completely kick this thing's butt in performance. One of the other things that I don't like is that it is heavy. Some of my shorts that I otherwise would not wear a belt with, if I'm going to put this in my pocket, requires me to put on a belt. Now, the main and final thing that I do not like about this phone is that it don't work with my carrier. Now, I cannot necessarily blame Blackview for this because my carrier says it's not supported, although it will work with the carrier for just a few minutes before they send you a nastygram and tell you that it is not supported. It will make phone calls, it sends and receives text messages. It works flawlessly for about 10 minutes, and then all of a sudden, oh, cricket free message. Here's the kind of nonsense we put up with. This device is not compatible with the Cricket network. A compatible HD voice device is required. To avoid service interruption or potential reactivation fees, please immediately switch your SIM back to a device that's... Okay, so the message used to just tell me that it's not compatible. Now the message threatens to charge me money for putting my SIM card in this phone. I'd really like to see this work, but there is a website, taking this SIM card out of here as fast as I can. There is a website that you can pull up with AT&T, which Cricket AT&T is the same thing, and it will give you a list of compatible devices, and there are, I believe, at least one Blackview device on the list, but this isn't one of them. Moving on. So that is pretty much all of the things that I don't like about the phone. The list of things that I do like about it is actually pretty extensive. So I'm actually pretty pleased with using it as an in my pocket camera. I really like the battery life with this thing. I ran it for, I don't know, a day and a half, and I managed to drain like 5% out of the battery or something. Now, that's not really heavy usage, but still, if I was using this as my daily driver, I fully suspect that I would only charge it maybe once per week, which brings me to another thing that I'm really thrilled with, and that is that it'll freaking charge. Like, you can plug this thing into charge, and I think from empty, maybe an hour or something, and it would be completely fully charged. I really like that it has dual SIM capability, because if you want to use it with more than one carrier, you can. Now, I did ask Blackview about this whole AT&T not supporting it thing, and they told me that the only carrier in the US that is supporting this phone is T-Mobile, which is a pretty big drawback. So if you're interested in buying one of these, I really encourage you to check with your local carriers, check with your provider, and see if this is a phone that they're going to allow to work. Now, I will tell you that I checked with Tello on this model, because we've been using Tello now for our watches, because my current provider Cricket does not support watches, which is totally cool. Tello has really good deals. $5 to $7 a month, you can have a reasonable data plan that'll work with your smartwatch. So Tello says, awesome, your phone wants to join Tello. Tello cannot tell if the phone is locked or not, but blah, 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 blah. So anyways, they're not going to look at this phone and say, Demon Seed, you cannot connect to this provider. Tello says this phone will work. I cannot blame Blackview for this phone not working with AT&T. AT&T/Cricket, they are a whitelist only provider, which means they have a specific list of devices that they're going to allow to connect. And this particular Blackview phone is not one of them. So this is actually a phone that I would like to have in my pocket as a daily driver. Blackview, they're a pretty big company. They got a lot of devices. This is not really a company that I'm worried about like spying on me or stealing my data. However, I would encourage all of you to be really conscious when putting everything on, a device that's going to have control over your life. Even using my Samsung phone, which I use an old Galaxy Note 9, this is my daily driver. Even using my Galaxy Note 9, I'm still really conscious about security and having my two-factor keys in the same place as my password list and things like that. So just general good security practice I would encourage with this, but I don't really suspect that Blackview is a company that you got to worry about hacking you or anything like that, but be careful. So I know this review may have seemed a little bit more like a camera review, because I didn't actually use this thing as a phone because I don't have a SIM card in it, and I don't want to order a data plan just for this phone, although I am really tempted now to go ahead and get me a Tello plan on here and port my number over, because I really like the phone and I would like, I would like to use this instead of my old Note 9. It is like blazingly fast. All right, so how about a benchmark? Let's run some 3D Mark. I'm going to skip to the end of this. I'm not going to leave all this in the video, so we'll just skip to the end here and give you the results. Dun 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 dun. So here we are. Overall score 4330. So it's not actually a super duper performer when it comes to gaming. Although if you are using your phone to do some gaming, you're most likely not going to be disappointed. Here's how it compares to an iPhone 15 Pro. We're actually down here. We compare it to a Galaxy S24. We're down here. When we compare it to a Xiaomi 14, we're here. S24 Ultra, your score is better than 59% of the results from other devices. So here is basically all of the devices, I guess, that are on the market, and it's ranking right here, right in about the middle. This thing, it's more geared toward work, it's geared toward battery life, and it's geared toward just being really useful. So I'm not exactly sure what they're planning on selling these for. I'm guessing it's probably going to be in like the $400 to the $600 range. I'm not really well versed on what the price should be or what the selling price should be, so please use your best of judgment in deciding if this is a good purchase for you. I've actually not purchased a phone for myself in many years, and I also don't typically use new phones. I'm always using old recycled stuff and things that I fixed and rebuilt and phones that I've put together and fixed myself. I don't tend to buy new phones, and I especially don't buy Apple phones. Anyways, let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm going to leave some links in the description if you would like to purchase one of these, or if you're just curious to see what they're going to be selling them for. And that is going to be the end of this review. So I really thank you all for watching. Thank you for subscribing, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good day, everybody. Hey there, sleeping dog. Are you so sleepy? Is that a rough life? All right, let's see if you can hide from us in the tunnel without your light on. Like, you got spiders all over. Yeah,
This is funny, the spider.
you will not hide from a thermal camera. Yeah, it is a flash drive.
Gotta go open it.
I put the phone right there.
Phone is wild.